ready?
Yeah, let's turn up the heat.
Are you ready?
Is he ready?
Oh, yeah, he's ready.
It's go time.
Ready to go beyond the scores and stats.
I love it.
Good.
Let's bring it in. It's showtime, right?
Welcome to High on Sports.
The whole deal is like some kind of crazy game.
Exclusively on MorningShowCentral.com.
Hello and welcome to High on Sports. I'm Ralphie, and with me as always,
it's Ashley.
And I am Von.
it is a good day to be alive in the beautiful gem on the shore of Lake Erie that we call Cleveland, Ohio.
This might have been the top 5 weekend ever.
More on that in a bit. Remember, as always, you can call the show toll free 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at MorningShowCentral.com. You can tweet at us at high_on_sports or use the hashtag HighOnSports. Facebook.com/HighOnSports. And the website is, of course, HighOnSports.net. You can go there for the archive of all our past shows. My blog, as well as now weekly pieces from Mark, our new blogger. So far up there, we got a piece about Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
with
pretty good.
New piece is going to be coming up there every Monday night. So, yeah, you're going to want to check that out. Again, that is HighOnSports.net. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Round one, let's go. All right, obviously, the MLB playoffs are pretty much set.
Pretty much.
There's a big game tonight. We'll preview that in a minute. It's a complicated game to describe what it is. It's the wild card playoff game, play-in tiebreaker game.
It's the playoffs to the playoffs.
It's the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like a third level there. You got.
Thank God the Indians didn't lose, because if we went into a 3-way tie, I don't know what I would have done with myself.
I don't know. I actually read the scenario was there was a tiebreaker system in place. It would have been similar to what's actually happening, except with an extra game thrown in there. Actually, it just gets complicated. But anyways, Cleveland Indians, they win their last 10 in a row. They clinched the number one wild card spot, home field advantage.
Home field, baby.
Danny Salazar will be taking the mound.
I'm a little nervous about that.
I mean, who are you going to go with? Ubaldo just pitched.
Yeah.
And Masty is still coming out of the bullpen. I wouldn't choose to make this his return start.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been Casimir. He pitched on Saturday, so your only other options were Kluber or
and McAllister.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Either one of those sound it?
See, obviously it makes sense because he's who has to go. It makes me nervous because he's a rookie. I don't know if he can handle the pressure. That's why I'm nervous.
I mean, it's true, but hey, remember that year, not too long ago, the Tampa Bay Rays, who I shouldn't be saying good things about them because we might play them, the Tampa Bay Rays made it all the way to the World Series against the Phillies not too long ago. And, I mean, there wasn't like a grown man on that team. It was a bunch of kids. And the thing was, everybody said, well, I don't know if they're ready for the pressure. They're too young and too stupid to know there is any pressure.
That is true, and that's what might luck us out with Salazar pitching. And the dude can throw some nasty heat.
That's the thing people never give credit for to young teams and stuff. Is sometimes
you're just young enough to not even know what pressure is.
To not psych yourself out about it. I think so much of it is that you scare yourself.
Yeah.
You scare yourself. It's the same way you see a horror movie and you go out later that night and you're walking around whatever and you look in the woods and you think you see a little goblin or something.
Really,
there's not really a goblin. It's just like a bear or something. Like, it's fine. You're psyching yourself out.
I don't know if a bear would be fine either.
Or whatever. I don't know. You get where I'm coming from. But
it's just a gigantic grizzly bear. We'll be okay.
Either way, you put the mental pressure on yourself. You scare yourself more than anything in the world can scare you.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
Quote that. Fortune cookie material right there.
Yeah.
Somebody write that down. Let's look at the game tonight, though, on TBS. I still find it weird they're a baseball channel. It just doesn't seem like it.
No.
It's like, hey, I hope you enjoyed that rerun of Friends. Now here's some playoffs. Stay tuned for more
when
Friends.
They played every single Atlanta Braves game? You might be a little too young to remember that, but
Turner Broadcasting.
They tried to make the Braves America's team. Sometimes it was impossible to find an Indians game on TV, but you would hear or be able to watch Braves game.
That's the benefit when the same guy owns the team.
Same thing with the
station.
WGN with the Chicago Cubs.
Has the Cubs.
They still run them, yeah.
Not every single game, but they
run. They don't run every
a lot.
game anymore? Didn't they? They used to do every game.
No, but you can get a lot of White Sox and Cubs.
Yeah, they have the White
stuff.
Sox mixed in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Poor them. Poor people from Chicago. Who are you gonna watch? Cubs or White Sox? Ugh. nothing.
Might as well just blow your brains
Put on
out
TBS
right now.
for that Friends repeat. let's see if Joey finally gets that acting gig. Anyways, Rays and Rangers tonight. Of course, they're tied 91-71. The both of them. Now, I think the interesting thing here is the pitching matchup. The starting pitchers is Price, obviously from Tampa Bay, David Price, who the Indians have beat, and who this year is only 9-8 with a 3.29 ERA, coming off a just last year. Correct, he won the Cy Young.
Yeah,
exactly. And then taking the mound for the Rangers is Martin Perez, 10-5 with a 3.55 ERA. When I look at it, my initial reaction is with Tampa Bay, if they were to win, Price immediately becomes unavailable for Wednesday.
Yeah.
No way you take him on 2 days rest. Now with Texas, I don't know how they, who's pitched for them recently. I don't exactly keep on everything they do, but it makes me wonder if Yu Darvish
Oh God.
would be available. Or potentially even worse is that
He just pitched yesterday.
Oh, Darvish did?
Yes.
he did. Who's that
Okay.
other guy they got from the trade with the Cubs this year?
Matt Garza.
Matt Garza. Now, is that someone we could potentially see on Wednesday?
Maybe.
Should the Rangers win? I mean, of course. It's honestly, I can't look at this game and see it going any way in particular. I don't think it's leaning any one direction. This is two teams where it could really,
and
it could
Texas
really go either way.
apparently gets to get Nelson Cruz back because
That's true. They get him back tonight.
and it's not like he's rusty because apparently even though you're suspended, you get to play in the minors to warm back up.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So
just
he's
great.
ready to go.
But you know what? Let's stop looking at our opponents here and let's look at the team itself. The Cleveland Indians. This is something we talked about right before we went on air, literally seconds before. This mirrored Major League, the greatest sports movie, if not movie period, of all time. If you
Yeah.
can't tell at home, you can't really see the numbers or anything. I'm rocking the Ricky Vaughn Wild Thing jersey right now, number 99. Greatest Cleveland Indian of all time. I think we all agree. Charlie Sheen. There's no one better than him in real life. But, excuse me, but they had the starter come in to close the game, right? And, and it's to get into the wild card and everything. And it's just the streak they have to go on and the underdogs and everything. This is a team that just mirrors so much of that movie. I don't know how it ends though in the playoffs because the movie obviously ends right before they go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know there was Major League 2.
That was in the minors though.
No, that was
Two.
Major League 3. That was Major League 3 back to the minors. Major League 2, now that shortstop, that guy, Corbin Burnson, whatever, is the owner. Just don't watch after 1. Honestly,
Yeah.
once Major League 1, that's all you need. Don't go watch Major League 2. That's stupid. It's just awful.
Even the people that were in 3 don't even acknowledge it. They say, we want to come out with Major League 3. They said, that one's already out. They're like, well, don't worry about it. We want to come out with a real
Like,
3.
Like, who was in 3? If you were in that movie, I'm sure you don't even remember. You'll watch it and you'll be like, oh, crap, I was in that? Man,
Why?
I didn't even know. Wow, I
I believe
started
they had
that.
Pedro Serrano in that one.
Oh, God.
He came back.
Indians finished 5th in all of Major League Baseball this year in runs. Oddly enough.
Wow.
Look at I got their numbers right here, their rankings and some stats. 13 in batting average.
Okay.
That one surprises me. On base percentage, 7th in the league, and slugging percentage 9th. So, I mean, when you're top 10, essentially, in all of those categories, clearly good things are going to happen. What I noticed this year the most, looking at it, the final standings of everybody, where they are, the American League, record-wise, took such a jump forward with everybody. You win 91 games, and you have to win a tiebreaker to get into
Yeah.
a wild card. When's the last time something like that happened in the American League? And I realized what the difference is. Houston. Think about it. Everybody has to play a certain number of games against Houston, so everybody's record in the American League shot way up. You look at the National League, I mean, it's just,
That makes so much sense.
doesn't it? You look at it, there's there's all these 80, 70 game winners and stuff near the top in the NL.
I would also add to the fact we've got a larger interleague schedule, and every year the AL beats up the NL.
Oh yeah. But let's have a look at the playoff picture here. All right, we've got of course, this is the 3 most important days of baseball probably of this season.
Yeah.
So far, at least. Not probably. It absolutely is. Tonight, of course, is going to be the first game, as we tried to describe it earlier, the wild card playoff play-in game tiebreaker play-in something.
Yeah.
Whoever wins gets to go
And that's why
play the Indians on Wednesday.
hate
It's so confusing.
I hate this one game playoff thing for the Wild. Yeah, you know what? It's exciting. We get one more team in the playoffs, and it's a one game. Blah blah blah. But we wouldn't have to worry about it because with our number one, we'd just be in the playoffs and be going to play Boston.
Exactly. If they hadn't instituted this rule last year.
I mean, at first I was like, oh
Boston.
my God, thank God they did because we're going to squeeze in that second. And then Tampa Bay lost twice. And I'm like, oh my God, we don't need to worry about it. And now I'm like, now we have to dick around with this one game. And it's making me so nervous.
It's nerve-wracking. I'm going to be a mess on Wednesday.
I am.
I'm going to be an absolute mess. It's going to be pretty rough. But of course, we have the one game today, Texas Rangers, Tampa Bay Rays. Winner will play the Indians on Wednesday. And let's not overlook the National League with arguably equally as great game, but obviously we're not going to care as much because we're in Cleveland. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, duking
that
it out.
Central Division of the National League was stacked this year.
3 playoff teams.
From
Three
one to-
playoff
yeah.
teams in one. That makes the first time ever, doesn't it? Because this is the first time they've done the second year they've done the double wild card. This is the first time ever. Then I would assume that there's 3 playoff teams all from one division, all from the NL Central. St. Louis locking up the best record in, I think, all of baseball overall, right? 97 wins. Well, tied with Boston. But still, number 1 in the National League.
Albert Pujols who?
Exactly. Look what it did for the Angels. The Angels finished 78-84, 18 games out of first place. Look at that roster and tell yourself that finishes 18 games behind Oakland. And tell me how that behind Bartolo Colon.
95 years old in baseball
and the
years.
athletic staff.
Tell me how that makes any sense. And then, of course, like I said, we have Cincinnati in Pittsburgh. That's going to be a pretty good game, actually. That's tomorrow night. And then culminating with the Indians with the AL playoff play-in wild crap game. Indians versus, again, Rays Rangers. So, I mean, this is 3 straight days of do-or-die baseball. This is exciting. This is the stuff you want. This is the stuff you.
It's not
look
good for
forward
my
to all
heart. I'm
season.
going to tell you that.
No, yeah, you'll probably have a heart attack and die. Probably. But and now the biggest question. I hate to, they say don't look a gift horse in the mouth or whatever. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to here. The Indians, it's exciting as hell. Obviously, the first time in the playoffs since 2007. First playoff team for this city since. What, 2010 Cavs? I mean, 2009, 2010 season? I mean, it's amazing, but they don't have a closer. Chris Perez probably won't even make this postseason roster.
No, he'll be on it.
I mean, there's
You can't.
he's officially demoted as closer.
He just needs to figure it out because you can't get rid of someone who, in the beginning of the season, was tearing it up. Then he got injured. Then he came back, and that first month after his injury, he was lights out. And then all of a sudden, he's just like completely lost it his last couple starts. So I mean, I think they just need to. I don't know what they need to do. He has to make the playoff roster. You can't just.
I'll agree with
not
that. I do believe he does. Yeah,
because because if he can figure it out. He can get back to his normal self. Then he is someone that we would need in the playoffs. He just needs to figure it out.
The problem is at his position with a closer, you don't get a chance in the playoffs to see if he's figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess
you're supposed to ideally pitch 1 inning. If it's during the regular season, you'd be like, well, let's go see if he's got his head back on straight.
Yeah.
Go send him out there. This is the playoffs. There is no let's see if your head's back on the straight. You have to go out there and perform.
What I'm hoping is on Wednesday they just beat the crap out of Tampa or Texas, whoever we're playing.
Let's go up like 40-0 in the first, and then we can throw.
And then
Chris Perez
throw him in, see what happens. If he goes
Sure.
1, 2, 3, okay, he's got it back. We're good. So I'm hoping they can just beat the crap out of whoever they play, and they run up a big enough lead to where we can throw him in there and see if he has it.
And question for you, Von Erich. I want to hear your take on this. Has the Indians effectively turned Justin Masterson into a long inning relief pitcher for the rest of this playoffs? Because I mean, I just think about it is there really a time where you can be like, well, let's squeeze him in as a start right here to see? Now, again, this is conjuncture, hoping they get past this first game. But, I mean, if you've got a guy who's been coming out of the bench for the last couple games, or I'm sorry, coming out of the bullpen, can you really afford to be like, well, let's put him back on the mound and see if his stuff's back here? Or have they effectively removed him as a starter for the rest of this year?
I feel he'll be starting if we pass this game on Wednesday. He'll start one of the first couple games in the series.
You have to.
If he doesn't, as long as Salazar gets a few innings under his belt, and we don't need to bring Masterson in like the 4th, 5th, maybe 6th inning, because we've just been stretching him out just to get him back into that starter's frame of mind, and he looks ready to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's been a totally useful weapon though in the position that they're in.
But
it has been such an asset.
But he can throw. He can throw 9 shutout innings. I mean, how many shutouts had he pitched this year?
Quite a bit.
So I mean, you can't, and that's why everyone's like, "Oh, we should have Masty close." And I'm like, you can't take a potential 9-inning shutout guy and just squeeze him into 1 inning.
Plus, I mean, how many times was there? It's such a different mindset entirely.
It really is.
To switch from a starter to a close. They're entirely opposite styles of pitching.
Yeah.
I've seen him, start off slow, allow a couple runs here in the first or something, and then get his stuff together.
Yeah, lights out for the next 7 innings.
You don't get to do that as a starter. You don't have as a closer, you don't have the wiggle room there.
No.
If you give up a couple of runs, you're screwed.
Batters in a row if you're only throwing to 3.
Exactly. I'm looking up his numbers of shutouts here. I'm gonna see if I can find that
because I know he had at least 2 1-0 shutouts this year, and I think he had another one where we scored a few more runs.
That's true. Yeah. I'm going to check at least complete games.
Because we were at the Yankee game where he threw the 1-0 shutout. And then I know he had one either before that or after that.
I'm having trouble
and then
finding it.
if he doesn't throw a shutout, he's only giving up, 1-2 runs? And he's always pitching 7-8 innings. You can't take a 7-8 inning guy out and just throw him into a couple. So that's why I'm hoping we get through Wednesday, he's got to be back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, well, okay, I got his complete games. He's, I guess, 3 complete games this year with the Indians. 3 complete games, all 3 of them shutouts. So 3 complete game shutouts this inning. This season. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good, I'll have to say. But, either way, it's just amazing, though, when you think about it, and you think earlier in the year, what did we all agree was the biggest question mark on this team was the starting pitching.
Yeah.
Was the only that was our question for everything. Everybody agreed, well, they put together a nice little roster here. Nice lineup, good-looking outfield, good-looking infield, everything. But the starting pitching was the only question mark, and question answered is all you can really say at this point.
Because
Ubaldo Jimenez.
Oh my God.
Jimenez.
He has a sub-2 ERA since, the All-Star break? He's lights out.
Exactly.
And that is huge for us because now if we can get Masty back in the starting lineup, we can get through Wednesday, get him back in the starting lineup, we have a 1-2 punch where our back-to-back starts where we may not give up a run.
This is absolutely insane. I'm looking at his last 10 starts, and 7 of them are wins. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And wow, look at that. 6 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched, 8.1 innings pitched. I mean, the lowest he did was a 5.2, and that looks like one maybe bad starter on. And well, he even got the win in that one. But I mean, in his last 10 games, it's been night and day. I don't know what this guy did, but doing it. The one thing I've heard, the one draws back to all this with Ubaldo is everybody sort of questioned, has he now played himself out of the Indians re-signing him? And, I mean, I don't want to say... I don't think it's like it has been, where you get good and then, the tribe either trades you or can't afford you. I think things are a little different. They spent money last year.
Yeah.
And Terry Francona's here. Especially, let's see what this club does in the playoffs before we start thinking about who we can and can't afford. But with Ubaldo, it's funny because last year everybody was like, everybody would ask me was this our last year under contract with him? I was like, nah, we got one more. Oh, damn it! There's no way we can cut him or opt out of that. It's like, nah, we gotta just see what we got. And all of a sudden, you flash forward a couple months, and it's just like we don't have any option. There's no team option we can exercise or something. But I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. it's a shame that they can't start him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But obviously Sunday, it's tough to say that, looking back, because every game along that way turned out to be a must-win.
Yeah.
So, and that's one reason I'm maybe cautiously optimistic about this game, is the fact that the Indians just played 10 must-wins and won them.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah.
So this is just an 11th must-win. This isn't like, okay, well, now it's do or die. No, it's been do or die.
Yeah.
It has been do or die for over a week now.
As soon as we lost 2 out of 3 against Kansas City, it was basically you win out, or best case scenario, maybe Tampa loses a game, you end up in a 3-way tie.
Exactly.
And they said, you know what? Okay, we're winning out.
This home stretch was such a testament to what you always say. You always tell them it's a locker room thing, and you always try to tell the fans that stuff. You cannot worry about what the other guys are going to do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
because I even would think that in the back of my head to myself. It would be like, well, if we don't win tonight, there's no way Texas just keeps winning. Or Tampa
and they
just
did.
keeps winning, and they did.
Yeah,
they matched
Texas
them almost step for step along this road.
Texas ended up losing only lost 1 game, and that's where we got back ahead of them. And then Tampa won until this weekend, where they ended up losing 2 straight against Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. Thank you, Toronto.
I know, right? Thank you, Toronto. They helped us out.
That's absolutely nuts. But it's amazing. Chris Perez, by the way, finished the year with 25 saves. Obviously,
he was 25 of 30, so it wasn't terrible. It just
5 blown saves, the last one when he got pulled, that wasn't even a blown save. But situation, like we said, must wins. What a stretch run though. You got Jason Giambi's, what was that, the 24th? I feel like 24th, 25th, he had that walk-off home run, breaking the record for oldest person to hit a walk-off that he had set earlier that year.
that he had set earlier.
11 walk-off wins, by the way, for the Tribe at home this year. I don't know the full season, but
I want to say it was about
Progressive.
20 in their last at-bat. So I think they had 9 where they came back in the 9th away and won it and then shut them down.
And here's my question, Von Erich. You probably know this a little better than I do. I keep up with the roster as much as I can, but once you get to the month of September, it gets a little confusing. I hear blah 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 making his first appearance of the year, and I think, okay, I don't know who that is. I've never heard that name in my life. And not to say that I'd never heard this name before, but Matt Carson.
Who?
This kid, was he a September call up?
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Now that means he cannot be on the playoff roster. Am I correct? Because I recall a few years ago when Aroldis Chapman with the Reds made his first start, and everybody thought it was the most brilliant move in the world that they called him up on the last day of August. So they called him up before the roster expanded, and I recall hearing something about that being to make sure he could be on a playoff roster.
Yes, there is a certain date cutoff where you have to be on the Major League roster if you want to be on the postseason roster. I'm not sure of that date, but that does.
Oh, that'd
make
be
sense.
sad if he couldn't come.
I wonder if you get a ring.
Because there's a couple bullpen guys that I wouldn't mind seeing. And
sure.
I'm trying to look up their names right now so I don't butcher them, but.
But there's C.C. Lee. Whatever happened with him? I remember hearing his name more earlier in the year.
Tommy John.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, he's
Sorry,
still.
bro.
He's still on the team though right now.
Well, yeah, Tommy John's. But
like recently.
I guess so.
I think I could have swore he was.
We can double check that. We'll send the stats.
I thought he was coming back.
I think
from
one of my favorite surprises this year is it's fun because we're in a period where we have this like day or so where we can just look back at what happened without worrying yet about what's coming. My favorite surprise this year, without a doubt, Yan Gomes.
Oh my God!
Yan Gomes came in a not even close to headline in this city trade. There's a lot of times when a team makes a move or something, and it's obviously not a headline.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it on like ESPN, but you go to like a Cleveland sports website, such as High on Sports, and it's going to be .net, and it's going to be like a headline there. This was one that just nobody seemed to notice. There was, what was the trade? Esmail Rogers to Toronto for Yan Gomes. And everybody sort of collectively was like, okay, well, I don't need to remember any of these names because these names will never mean anything to me. And all of a sudden, Yan Gomes is currently listed on the Indians' depth chart as their starting catcher. Carlos Santana is now the guy floating around
between
trying
DH
to find
and
his
first
at-bat.
base.
Exactly. I mean, they're going to find at-bats from him. He's Carlos freaking Santana. But, I mean, the fact is, he outright lost his position. He lost that starting position, which it's not a bad thing because, and we've said this before on the show, I've always thought Santana has a brighter future as a DH.
Yeah.
Giambi can't be here forever. It's very likely Giambi won't be here next year.
That'll be sad.
I mean, it's possible.
Because he's been huge, like, not only clutch-wise, but he's been huge in the locker room.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge.
I was reading an article today. Is an interview with Tito Francona, and he said that he gave Giambi carte blanche. The only player he's ever done this with, he says, his entire time as a manager, free call to whenever he wants to call a players' meeting. He's got the right to do that. He's the only player that he's ever managed where he says, whenever this guy wants to call some kind of a meeting, he has full authority and permission to call any kind of meeting whenever he chooses. I mean, you're looking at like a near assistant coach level guy. Like it's almost like Jason Giambi's our bench coach.
He almost ended up with the Colorado Rockies manager job, but then they ended up hiring someone else, and then he's like, well, okay, guess I'm still playing baseball then.
How weird is that? You're like, do I want to manage the Rockies or play
baseball
for the Indians?
Yeah, and he ended up coming here, and now we're in the playoffs.
Todd Helton retired, by the way.
He did.
Quietly
after the
one
season.
of the best players of our generation.
Yeah.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. My opinion.
He didn't have the stats. I don't think he got to the 3,000 hit mark.
I meant Rocky's Hall of Fame.
Rocky's
Ring of
Hall
Honor.
of Fame. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work in the outfield. Maybe put his number up.
There you go. I'll retire his number. No, but I mean, Yan Gomes. Not to mention this bench. Just to give them praise before we go, Mike Aviles, the Goon Squad.
It's like a great name.
Mike Aviles, Ryan Rayburn, even the acquisition of Kubel later on.
Yeah.
Kubel, Stanley Kubrick. It's just been everything that can go right has gone right, and we just got one more game to wait for.
Yeah,
See
one
you
more.
Wednesday night.
And then we can actually get into a series.
Absolutely.
Where I'm like still freaking out and nervous, but not
Totally.
so much.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, you're going to find out what's urinating us off. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns don't have a losing record.
Brownies,
What's happening
baby!
here? 3 up, 3 down, all that, so much more. Listen to High on Sports on the MSC Radio Network.
Oh, great. Not another farm bill request. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Morning Show Central. Denying one farm bill request at a time.
I know. Oh my God, I know what we're gonna do. Oh, it's so delicious, I can almost taste it.
If you're looking for the best sub shop in town, look no further. Hanini Subs, located at 7310 Lorraine Avenue, is the place for you. Stop in for a cold cut sub, cheeseburger and fries, wingdings and fries, and so much more. And almost taste Hanini Subs at 7310 Lorraine Avenue is open 24 hours a day. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/Burrito Crazy. And if you mention MSC Radio Network, you'll get $1 off your meal. It's all good at Hanini Subs. So damn good. Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits. A 99.5% uptime guarantee and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment, and they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com. User-friendly and ready to serve. morningshowcentral.com. Call the show toll-free. 1-888-668-0742. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network on morningshowcentral.com.
Oh, wow. Language.
Okay, he was PMSing.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network.
This is President Barack Obama, and you're listening to MSC Radio Network.
P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. Hey, local bands and unsigned artists. What if I told you there was a place in Cleveland where you can get your merch made and have it sold in one location? What if I said you could bring your CDs and tickets to upcoming shows to this location? And what if I said you could do live acoustic sets at this location? I bet you're thinking there's no such place in Cleveland. Guess what? You'd be wrong. Contact Rick Navario at Rock City, Cleveland, and tell him you need merch made and you want to sell it in his store. Now, how cool is that? You can tell your fans to come down and get your stuff, and I think he'd ship your products to your fans. And he's local. Contact Rick Navario at Rock City, Cleveland today. 216-622-0377. That's 216-622-0377. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and storm monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningsHowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com.
MSC Radio Network has just tweeted the following.
This bowel movement won't come out.
Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/MSC Radio Network.
Hello, and welcome back to High on Sports, always professional and always classy. I am Ralphie, and with me as always,
It's Ashley.
And I am Von Erich.
I was coming back in the post.
I like total transparency on this show, so people don't think I'm a professional by any means. I was sitting here about ready to go, like, all right, here's what I'll say, here's what I'll do. before I realized the mic was turned completely away from me, and I was about to just talk. So that's what happened there. I could have gotten away with that, but I like you guys to know when I mess up. Keeps me human. Remember, as always, you can call the show toll-free 1-888-668-0742. Email your questions or comments to shows with an S at morningshowcentral.com. You can tweet at us at _on_sports or with the hashtag #HighOnSports. Facebook.com/HighOnSports is the Facebook page. Make sure you give it a like for all the breaking news in the world of sports, as well as videos, fun little things, and memes, and, just stuff. Might as well. Again, Facebook.com/HighOnSports. HighOnSports.net is the website. It's got the archive of all our past shows. My blog, as well as a weekly post from our new blogger, Mark. This week is all about would an NFL team tank a season for a better draft pick? That'll be up later tonight. And again, of course, all our past shows and a bunch of other fun stuff. Again, that is highonsports.net. All right, we got a jam-packed second half for you. It is round 2. Let's go. Real quick, I just little snippets. I don't know why this just popped in my head. I think it was as soon as I heard the bell, like one of those Pavlovian responses. I started thinking boxing. Did you hear Floyd Mayweather Jr. just said that he wants in his next fight Miley Cyrus to join him walking into the ring? He called her the.
Oh, dear God.
He said I want the. He described her as the queen of twerk, Miley Cyrus. And I was like, why are you saying these things?
No, pretty
Stop
soon
that.
he's just going to need an arena for his entourage. He'll come out, followed by his entourage, and then they'll all go to their seats.
I mean, you know what, though? I would take Miley over Bieber.
I would take no one. I would walk out alone.
I mean, yes.
I would walk out alone and let everyone be like, he doesn't have any friends.
But what I'm saying
one way to
is
do
at
it.
least it would be a step up from him rolling out with freaking Justin Bieber.
That's ridiculous.
Because I'm pretty sure Miley's probably more vicious than Bieber.
He could walk out with Bernie Kosar, but he'd probably get pulled over before he got to the ring. Oh!
Oh!
All right, well, it's time for a stable on sports. And that
Did
is,
you
of
see
course-
that? Did you see that meme I put up there on MSA with Miley Cyrus?
Oh, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, go Tribe. Go Tribe. Yeah. That's the support they want. All right. It's like when people do pictures like that, like with not necessarily with her, but like that, where it's like they'll put like support the troops or something, and I just picture them opening a box with that picture and just being like, no thanks, nah, we're good. Anyways, it's time for a staple of High on Sports, and that is of course what's urinating us off, and we're gonna start as we always do with Mr. Von Erich. Von Erich, what's urinating you off?
Well, this week I am going to have to eat my words. My urinating off comes from the world of NASCAR.
Oh.
Where I'm going to do like a best of both worlds here, since I also host a music show, Everything in Between, on MSC every Monday night at 8 p.m.
I love that show.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on a certain radio station I was listening to over the weekend, and he did a countdown of the top 12 songs of the Sprint NASCAR Cup. What? And as soon as it was announced, I just started mouthing off. Not here on the show, obviously, this was this past weekend, but telling everyone that would listen that this is going to be awful, and it's going to be the most terrible list of songs that they weren't even going to be picked by Dale Earnhardt Jr. himself, that is going to be some corporation that are listing new and popular songs just to, get their music out there. And boy, was I wrong. Dale came out with a list of some like 90s alternative gems I got my little list here. I had to write them down as he went along. I was so impressed. Deftones, Faith No More, Everclear, Matthew Good Band, and Big Wreck, which are both like obscure Canadian bands for those of you who remember Much Music, the Canadian MTV. And also Alice in Chains, Archers of Loaf, Hum, just quite a impressive lineup and choice cuts too. Not necessarily the radio hits, but he even went on to make descriptions of why he chose this song over the other, and why he liked these bands and how he discovered them. So I am eating my words right now, saying that all right, Dale Earnhardt Jr., you win music.
That is surprising. I would have just assumed it's like Sweet Home Alabama.
Well,
then another
songs.
Sweet Home Alabama, and then
it is
more
NASCAR
Sweet Home
is
Alabama,
like a
and that's
country.
like it. Oh yeah, it is.
activity.
Nobody
I'll
like that
never
lives
call
in a
Na-
real city
like,
is like
yeah,
no one's in like France. Like,
it can be
did
pretty
you see the
redneck.
NASCAR race?
It can be pretty redneck.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not. I don't.
I'm
even know.
cultured. I think I'm.
I can
yeah.
watch an NASCAR race every now and then.
I prefer to watch football while sipping a glass of Bordeaux
Get the hell out of here.
while out on a balcony. That's
NASCAR's-
my lifestyle.
It's not a classy sport.
That's my lifestyle. I read the New
Sport, I
Yorker.
mean,
just
I wouldn't
saying,
even call it a sport, but
you
I'll
know,
watch it.
Just driving around. I don't know, but no,
It's like a hardcore activity.
not my thing. Not my style. I don't know.
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
Dale Jr.
I mean, like, if you paid me to watch it, I would accept the money. But
I mean, I don't know if I could actually watch a whole race, but
No,
I can
NASCAR's great at the end. The end
Yeah.
of NASCAR is awesome. The beginning, I mean,
a little rough.
little slow. They don't even. I don't know. Maybe maybe in my head I make them faster than they are, because I watch it. It's like nobody seems fast, but I know it's just because everybody's fast. And this sounds like a stupid childlike problem, but I still look at them and I'm like, they could be faster. The movies are
They're
fast.
going, what,
Vin
180?
Diesel's faster in the movies.
180,
Vin
200?
Diesel's so much faster.
Well, that's
in
because
the
Vin
movies.
Diesel has NOS in his car.
Well, where's theirs? Or is that like
That's
steroids?
illegal. That's,
Well,
that's
the-
steroids
the
for a car.
steroids of NASCAR.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Von Erich. And now we're gonna skip Ashley.
Yeah, because
And we're
I was
gonna-
just so happy this weekend that literally nothing could piss me
Well,
off.
that brings me to my point. This is a rare occurrence. We don't do it much, but I'm not urinated off at all.
It can't be. It's.
I just want to talk about how happy I am.
I know!
I am bursting with joy.
I mean, we got Ohio State has won 17 straight games now.
Longest record in the country.
And they just beat
Excluding
Wisconsin.
any of those little like D whatever schools because I don't.
They
pay
don't
attention.
count
I
because
don't keep track. I don't
they
care.
don't count.
That's not Division One.
It's not if it's not Division One, it doesn't
Exactly.
count, and I don't care.
Exactly.
But I'm saying 17 and Urban Meyer's undefeated as Ohio State's head coach.
Never lost.
Never lost a game.
Never lost a game.
Hasn't lost the game. And we just beat Michigan, so it's not even like we're playing little schools. We're playing Big Ten schools now. And Michigan was ranked until we beat them.
That was last year you're talking about.
We just Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That's what I'm trying to say. Wisconsin.
Yeah. Michigan was on a bye week, remember?
Oh yeah, they were on a bye week.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
they're
right.
pussies.
Anyways, we had a discussion before the show started. She was like, those pussies in Michigan scheduled a bye week. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're still going to play the same amount of games. It's like, the Buckeyes don't do a bye week. We pull up the schedule. They do a bye week in 2 weeks.
No one needs to know that.
It's just like those pussies, the Green Bay Packers.
No, the
They didn't
NFL always
they didn't
has
even
bye
play a
weeks.
game this
I'm
weekend.
telling you, I don't think the Big Ten we used to have bye weeks.
Maybe.
I don't think we did.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
No,
think
but
so.
I think
We got them now.
I
We
think
got 'em
they
now.
start the season a week earlier now, and they squeeze in a bye week because all the SEC
Yeah, it
teams
seems
have
like the
bye weeks.
season starts like the second week of August.
Yeah, it started. I'm telling you, it started early
does
because
start
now we have
soon.
bye weeks because they never used to have bye weeks for Ohio State.
Well, Ohio State's they're already 5 games in.
They are
They're 5 games already.
5-0,
5
baby.
games. into
Once
an
they beat
undefeated
Northwestern on Saturday, then you're already halfway. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive. Anyways, let's look at this though. This is what's especially making me happy. Obviously, I'm proud for the Buckeyes, but you know this was their first challenge, and
It was.
they knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Good for them. Cal, that was not a challenge. I don't care what you say, but
No.
this is the first actual challenge, and they did well. So I'm proud of them. But exceeding my expectations would be the Cleveland Browns.
Holy cow!
They are now 2-2, which means for at least 7 days we can sit back and know they don't have a losing record.
Yeah.
No, less than 7 days, but probably more because they got the Bills on
Oh
Thursday.
yeah, we got a Thursday night game.
Which they have a legitimate chance at. Which I mean,
They do.
The way the
And
Browns
it's
are
at
playing
home.
right now, though, I don't think there's anyone that they could be playing on Thursday where I would just say, it's over. I mean,
Well,
maybe
Denver.
Broncos, Seahawks. That's it.
Yeah, Peyton Manning's lighting it up right now.
Boy, the Seahawks look good. Boy, am I smart.
Yeah, they're not going to beat. I don't care how good their defense is. Peyton Manning will still put up 40
Did you see
points
that?
on them.
I
I'm
didn't
telling
get to,
you that
I didn't
right
get
now,
to
I'm
watch.
calling it.
I didn't get to watch too much this weekend, but I get the score alerts for basically every game sent to me, and I got that for the Seahawks and Houston. It was 20-3 Houston at halftime. Final in overtime, 23-20 Seattle.
That's rough, Houston. You got to score some
Yeah.
points in the second half.
Damn, Seattle. Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson.
I mean,
These two best teams in the NFL, and they're my 2 teams that I picked to go to the Super Bowl. Let's see what happens. We got a couple months. I can wait. Anyways, the Browns shockingly beat the Bengals. The Browns are now tied. They are now tied for the division lead. 2-2 with the Ravens, 2-2 with the Bengals. Brian
They're winning
Hoyer.
out. They're winning out. I'm calling it right here.
Calling it
Calling
right now?
it? They're winning out?
Calling it right now, 14-2.
Dude, I'm telling we had no.
How ridiculous would that be?
I don't know.
I'm telling you, oh my God! I mean, someone prayed hard to Jesus because we got the
Or
Indians
whoever,
in the
I don't even
playoffs,
know.
and then you're gonna tell me the Browns are gonna win. I think I'd probably die.
Somebody went across the board.
Like, can
Somebody
you die
prayed-
of overexcitement?
Somebody prayed to just about everybody just to
Yeah.
be sure about this one. They
Just
said,
to be sure.
Dear Jesus,
They-
Buddha,
They hit everyone.
Vishnu, whoever else is listening,
I don't
Satan,
know.
whatever,
Oh my God!
just get out there and get that W. Anyways, Brian Hoyer has not lost. He has
How about
not
that?
lost.
Well, I
2
mean-
touchdowns, no picks.
How about our defense?
Oh, absolutely.
Only
Sure,
giving
sure,
up 6
sure.
points to Cincinnati, who's got a pretty legit offense with
absolutely
AJ
impressive.
Green,
I'm telling
who
you-
did nothing because Joe Hayden is the shit.
Brian Hoyer, they've already announced they're not doing any of the bullshit they just said this week. They're like, we ain't flipping around on stuff. He starts on Thursday. Obviously, it's a shortened week anyway, so he
Yeah.
probably had that start, win or lose. But still, they're like, no bullshit, and he's starting on Thursday, as he damn well should. The thing is, this is not baseball, where baseball's a long season and everything. Baseball is the sport where they really say it's like an unwritten rule that you don't lose your job to an injury. You just usually tweak your elbow or something doesn't mean you lose that starting spot. Football's different. There's not enough time.
Yeah.
There's 16
games.
Nobody's
that's it.
got the time. If you're hurt, this guy next up comes in, kicks ass, bye.
Yeah.
Do not have the time to put you back in and give you the fair shot. Life ain't fair, and football especially ain't fair. Sorry, Brandon Wheaton, but this is pretty much it. I don't think right now, barring injury or some sort of colossal, which could happen, implosion on this team, I don't see Brandon Whedon starting a game again for the Cleveland Browns. I think the odds of him getting cut or something or not being with the roster by week 17 are more likely than him starting another game by week 17 at this point in time right here.
Next week, Hoyer goes out there, throws 3 picks in the first half. We might have to have this discussion again next week.
Did you have
Yeah.
Campbell? I don't know if they
Dude,
immediately
Campbell
go back
is
to Whedon.
terrible. You'd have to go with Whedon over
Yeah, if
Campbell.
you just
There's a
skipped over
reason
him.
why Hoyer went from 3 to 1.
That's true.
There's a reason.
What makes me wonder is why the hell did they? If I had somebody from that office and I could just ask them, all I would ask them, why the hell did you even put a 2 in front of Jason Campbell? I'm not sitting here just trying to take a crap on Jason Campbell. I let life and stats do that for me. But the point is, you went out and you signed him. All right, and then it was sort of a race between the Campbell and Whedon as to who was going to start, even though we knew it was going to be Whedon. And then you bring in Hoyer. Why did we start the season with Hoyer listed at number 3 on the depth chart?
Because
Why
they
did-
probably were planning on
It might
Campbell
have just
being
been
our
an experience
second.
thing.
And then when Whedon got hurt, Campbell came out and just...
Campbell barely played when Whedon came out.
he played, one series? And then
Exactly.
the game was over?
He threw like 5 passes.
Yeah, and they were bad.
If that.
They were bad.
I mean, sure, but you just came in and stuff. You're going to tell me he loses
maybe
his
he's
job because of that?
Well, maybe he's progressively got worse since training camp, and Hoyer's got better.
Let's see. It's at Baltimore.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hoyer looked pretty damn good in that number 4 preseason game, which I know you don't look too far into that because
you're playing
it's preseason
scrubs.
game number 4. You're playing people that will be bagging groceries in a week. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't understand. It couldn't have been this much surprise to them.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Now, not that I'm saying Hoyer should have leapfrogged Whedon to begin with. But I think he should have been in front of Campbell, and I don't understand why. I'm looking at it right now. 4 passes. 4 passes Campbell threw. 4 passes. He was 1 for 4.
It's got to be just
for what it's worth.
What
for
they've
6
been
yards.
seeing during practice.
All I know is why it just seems weird that they decide to switch him on the depth chart right as there's about to be some action.
Yeah.
Right as it's now the number 1 is gone. So, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Hoyer should be 2 instead. I mean, I don't know. All I know is Brandon Whedon was 0-2 as a Brown starter, and Brian Hoyer is 2-0.
Whedon didn't have our best receiver. I'll give him that.
That's true. That's a fair point. But
Because as soon as
I just
Gordon
think-
came back, it opens up our whole pass game.
The biggest thing to me is just that game last week against the Vikings, when it was just that where almost everybody in football but Cleveland has had someone to rely on, at least over the last couple of
Yeah.
years, where it's crunch time. Put the ball in Roethlisberger's hands or Brady's hands or Peyton Manning's hands, or I know I'm picking sort of top tier guys, but I mean, Andrew Luck of last year had 4 comebacks that he led in the fourth quarter, whatever. Either way, it's that final time where you got one drive. This is how it looks. These are your timeouts. This is the time left. This is what's happening. Get down the field, score. And he went out there, and he did.
Yeah.
He led a game-winning drive. And that's the other thing, is even when the Browns had Derek Anderson was the last, for one season, was the last legitimate quarterback that the Browns had.
Until he went back to playing like his normal crap.
2007, Derek Anderson was the last good quarterback the Browns had. Right? That is the last legitimate starter the Browns have had. And even then, there wasn't these late... I mean, he was just winning on talent. The fact that he could just bomb it downfield and let Braylon Edwards, 07 Braylon Edwards, I have to stress, 07 Braylon Edwards and 07 Kellen Winslow catch it, you know? But this it was just a situation where it's what's so overlooked in the NFL, and what I think is the most important trait in a quarterback. It's not his arm, it's not his legs, it's what's between his ears. It's what's under the helmet.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't look like a moron. And you know what? It's like, I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to go all in on Hoyer. I'm not going to get crazy here. It's been 2 games. I'm not going to say this is the franchise guy. Maybe this is a good guy to have on the roster when the Browns do draft their quarterback in the first round, which they will do. I can almost guarantee it at this point.
Well, I mean, Hoyer was Brady's backup for how many years in New England?
Exactly.
I mean, that's between Brady and Peyton, those are probably the 2 best quarterbacks to sit under.
This is the first time in a long time that somebody has gone behind center for the Browns and didn't look like a brain-dead moron.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be so blunt like that.
Well,
Colt McCoy and the rest.
We've
but
always
you get out there
got
and you
these
look
kids
stupid.
out of college, and we've just thrown them into the NFL system, and the NFL is a completely different game at the quarterback level from college.
Absolutely. This is the first time, exactly, that the Browns have put someone behind it that really,
That's been able to learn behind someone and had time to mature.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's the first time that they put somebody behind there that really had time to learn, because they did just have Jake Delhomme a couple years ago.
Well, he was like 95
Jake Delhomme
by the
didn't
time
know
we
what
got
was up,
him.
but Jake Delhomme lost his stuff, exactly.
Yeah.
By the time he wound up in Cleveland, that was the last stop before the graveyard.
Yeah.
The next time you hear Jake Delhomme's name, it will be Jake Delhomme dead at 65 or whatever in a couple years, you know. But
you don't think they'll be retiring his number down in Carolina?
No, yeah, you're right. They'll retire his number. All right, quick 3 up, 3 down. All right, down number 3, Jake Locker, the Titans quarterback, injured his hip, out 4 to 8 weeks.
Rough.
In comes Fitzpatrick. Good for him. Down number 2, Dale. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, no. In comes Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Okay. Down number 2, Dale Sveum, fired as Cubs manager after 2 seasons. Ouch. And down number 1, Lane Kiffin, fired as head coach of USC, but hey, guess what?
That didn't take long.
He still has a smoking hot wife. So who really loses in the end, USC? Not Lane. Up number 3, Brian Hoyer, quarterback, has won his 2nd start for the Browns and has already been announced as the Week 3 starter. Go Brownies. Up number 2, Henderson Alvarez, Marlins pitcher, ends season by no-hitting the Tigers. Indians finished 1 game in back of the Tigers, by the way.
We did, because they lost 2 straight.
Which brings me to up number 1, the Cleveland Indians.
Playoffs, baby!
On a 10-game winning streak to clinch home field wild card spot.
Shouldn't Ohio be at number 1? Between
it. The
Indians,
whole state
playoffs,
of Ohio, yeah.
Browns 2 in a row, Pittsburgh 0-4.
Exactly.
Suck it, Pittsburgh.
All right.
You're done.
My nephew is 2 months old, and he has never been alive for a Steelers victory. His whole life.
Why wasn't he? Tell your sister he should have been born years ago.
I'm keeping that kid around. All right.
Why didn't you birth this kid out years ago?
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. But remember, immediately following High on Sports every Monday night at 8 is Everything in Between with your host, Von Erich, with musical guest tonight,
Northern Whale.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Fun.
All right, so for Chris, for Von Erich, for Ashley, I'm Ralphie saying good night, everybody. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Thanks for listening to High on Sports on MorningShowCentral.com. And go Tribe!
Yeah, baby. October baseball.